Hola everybody, Vince Bognot here, and today on June 22nd, 2012, I got meself, yes, I got meself, a new computer. Yes, specifically, a Mac. Specifically, a Mac Mini. Yes. Now before you go crazy, I have I have a ton of reasons why I'm making the switch today on June 22nd, 2012. Let me give you a little preview. Windows 8 totally sucks. It really does. On desktops and notebooks. On tablets, woohoo! Great! I love Windows 8 on tablets. It makes sense. But Windows 8 as a desktop operating system, as a notebook operating system, it totally sucks. That idea sucks, and I do not support it. Because putting a tablet operating system on top of Windows 7, repackaging it as Windows 8, doesn't make sense to me. Don't buy Windows 8 if you have a desktop or a notebook. Buy Windows 8 if you have a tablet, or if you're going to buy a Windows 8 compatible tablet. But for desktops and notebooks, it doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense. And I'm angry with Microsoft, and that's why I'm finally switching to Mac. They've lost their innovation. They did. So that's why I'm switching to a Mac. Now, mind you, I'm still going to be running Windows. I have a notebook over here, the HP ProBook 4420S, that runs Windows 7. I might even install Windows 8 on it, just for the heck of it, because Windows is no longer going to be my primary operating system as of today, June 22nd, 2012. But again, that was just a little preview. I'm actually producing a video on my reasons of finally switching to a Mac. And that video will come out soon if you're watching this before that video is produced. Otherwise, you can click on this annotation, it'll take you to that video. So watch out for that video, and don't start hating on me in this video for finally switching to a Mac. Because this video will focus on my unboxing of the Mac Mini and just my overall first impressions. So if you're looking to argue about Mac versus PC and all that great stuff, just go to that video that I'm going to produce really soon. Okay? So, without further ado, let's get started on unboxing my new computer. So, here is the Mac Mini box. On top of the Mac Mini box is my awesome Microsoft, what model is this? Microsoft Windows or Microsoft Wireless Laser Mouse 7000. Really awesome mouse, and I'm going to be using this with my Mac. So I'm totally not bashing Microsoft completely. I still love their keyboards and mice. Alright, so here's the box. Here's the front of the box. Here is the back of the box with all of the I/O. Power, Ethernet, Firewire 800, HDMI, Thunderbolt, or mini display, however you see it. 4 USB, an SD card slot, headphone, microphone, fan, vent system, and power button. Alright? And we'll see that when I unbox the actual computer itself. Side is the Apple logo, is an Apple logo, see. And the other side has Thunderbolt, Mac OS X Lion, and this runs an Intel Core i5 processor. Yep, dual core i5 processor to be exact. Alright, so let's take this Mac Mini and remove the shrink wrap from the box. Oh, and if you're wondering, this is a new Mac Mini. I purchased this not through the Apple Store, but through MacMall.com. MacMall.com is an authorized reseller of Apple products, and I got this for a steal at $563.99. And the great thing about MacMall is they don't charge sales tax. The actual price of a Mac Mini, if you were to buy it at an Apple store, in-store, or at the online store, would be $599.99 plus like 8% sales tax, and that would bring it all the way up to $640. And so I really saved a bunch on this Mac Mini. But then again, I don't get the $100 Mac App Store gift card that Apple is currently promising college students if they buy a Mac with them from like today through September. But I don't care. I saved $100 by buying my Mac through MacMall.com. So if you're looking to buy any new Mac, go to MacMall.com. Alright? And no, they did not sponsor this Mac Mini. I bought this with my own money. It's just a great website, and they're authorized to sell Apple products, so it's really, really cool. Remove the shrink wrap. Shrink wrap's gone. I guess I slide it out of the box. Let's see how I do this. There we go. And 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Whoa! There is my new computer. Really, really small. Lift the tab up here. Here's my Mac Mini. Let's look at what's in the box first. We have HDMI to DVI. I actually bought a Thunderbolt or mini DisplayPort to DVI adapter as well because I'm going to be running dual screens on this machine. As you know, I have a dual screen setup. So I have the HDMI to DVI and Thunderbolt or mini DisplayPort to DVI. Okay? And then I have the power cable here and the box, or not a box, the set of manuals. Really, really cool. Alright, so let's focus back on to the Mac Mini. Here it is. Let's remove the shrink wrap. And that's about it. Here is the Mac Mini. Well, just a little note here, it doesn't have an optical drive. And if I do need an optical drive, I can just probably purchase not a super drive, but a cheapo USB external drive, and that might probably do the job. Alright, so here we go. Here are all the I/O ports we went over earlier on the box. And the cool part about this Mac Mini is you can easily upgrade the RAM by just twisting the cover. Let's see, twist, how do we do that? There we go. And you can remove the cover, and you have access, easy access to the RAM. This machine currently has, oh, and it's blue RAM. That's awesome. Blue RAM. My RAM's usually green. Anyways, this system has 2 gigabytes of RAM. 2 gigabytes. My Lenovo system has 4 gigabytes, but I'm going to be upgrading the RAM in this machine to 8 gigabytes pretty soon. On, which website is it? Crucial.com. They sell 8 gigabytes of RAM for the Mac Mini, 4 gigabytes for each stick, since the Mac Mini can hold 2 sticks. So 4 times 2, which equals 8. An 8 gigabyte special deal for RAM on the Mac Mini for around 50 bucks. So that's a pretty good deal, and I'm going to be purchasing that sometime in the near future. All right, and I'm going to just put this back on. And I'm going to stop this video right now. I'm going to get everything set up. I'm going to be plugging in the wires and putting this Mac Mini to use in a second for you guys, because I'm just going to be editing, but it's going to take me an hour because you know how I am with cables, and I'm such a neat freak, so I got to get everything perfect before actually booting this up. So, in the meantime, thank you very much for watching this unboxing portion of the video, and now here is the boot up of my first main Mac. Okay, so my room is a total mess right now. I decided to save the organization for later and just boot this thing up. And there's my old Lenovo desktop. Well, it's not really that old. It's a pretty nice system. It's 3 years old. But I replaced it with the Mac Mini, as you all know. And let's just boot this thing up. Okay, power button. And this won't stay here. It'll probably stay on the shelf that I'll put here. So, again, I'll just save the organization for later. So let's boot this thing up. 3, 2, 1. I thought my speakers were connected. Whatever. Ooh, Apple logo. It's displaying the Apple logo on my secondary monitor. I gotta fix that. Alright, so here we go. Here's the boot. And that flicker is just caused by the camera recording the monitor. That flicker is normally not there. Okay, so it's booting. This is the first boot. Let's hope it detects my Microsoft keyboard and mouse. This is an awesome keyboard and mouse, by the way. I just got this last month. See? Really, really smooth and awesome. It's still booting. There we go. Now it detects my 2 monitors. I'm waiting. Oh, and the mouse does work. See? Here's the cursor. And I gotta fix that. Because I want this to be my primary monitor, not this. So hold up a sec.
To use English for the main language,
whoa.
Press the return key.
Whoa. And my speakers do work, so that's good to know. Alright, so I'm going to just switch this up real quick. So I guess my primary monitor needs to be using the mini display port or Thunderbolt port, and my secondary monitor should be using the HDMI, because right now my primary monitor is using the HDMI. Whatever, Vince, let me just fix it. Okay, so now it should work. My main monitor should be my main monitor, and my second monitor should be my secondary monitor. So let's see. It's booting up. There you go. Apple logo is now on the main monitor. Cool, simple fix. Alright, this is the second boot, technically still the first boot, because when we first booted the system up, I really didn't do anything. And I'm going to wait for that voiceover guy to start talking again, because he has a really smooth voice, if you can hear before. Okay, let's wait for the voiceover guy to start talking.
To use English for the main language, press the return key.
Cool. Okay. So we're setting my Mac up right now. I'm going to use English as the main language. Next. Welcome. Oh, and I noticed it doesn't have that cool startup video anymore. Oh well. Continue. US keyboard. What's the difference between a US keyboard and a Canadian keyboard? Don't know. Don't transfer now. Okay, enter my Apple ID. I entered my Apple ID. It's connecting to Apple. It should have no problem doing that because I'm using an Ethernet connection right now. Let's agree to the license agreement. I'm going to read this to you in this video right now. So, English. Apple Inc. Software. Just kidding. You thought I was going to read the whole thing? Loser. Just kidding. Continue. And Mac OS X software license agreement. Agree. Registration information. Since I logged in with my Apple ID, it got all of my information from my Apple ID, so I can click continue. Create your computer account. My name's going to be, my full name's going to be Vince Bognot. My account name is just going to be simply named Vince. Password. I didn't have a password on my last computer, so I don't need a password for this one. I trust everyone in this household. Okay, continue. So I guess it requires you to have a password, so I'll be right back. So I entered in a password. Continue creating your account. Come on, thank you. Start using Lion. Thank you very much, Mac. Seamless setup. Ooh, look at that. The new login screen. Although I wish I didn't need to have a password because my Windows 7 machine didn't have a password, for the reason of when I wanted to boot up my machine, I could just simply press the power button and it will just boot up without prompting you to enter a password. But I think there's a way to bypass this in Mac OS X, so I'm not worrying too much. So I'm logging in. Let's see the cool effect that it does for logging in. Ooh, nice. Okay, so here's the dock. Cool, cool, cool. There's photo booth. I'm going to one day purchase a photo booth compatible / FaceTime compatible webcam for this machine, but not at any time soon because I don't really use my webcam for anything. iCloud, so I can start using iCloud with my Mac. Introduction keyboard setup assistant and all that great jazz. So that has been my unboxing and setup of the Mac Mini. Really, really cool. So it's been a few days after I got my Mac Mini, and my new RAM came in the mail today from Crucial.com. This is an 8GB kit to replace my 2GB in my Mac Mini. After using my Mac Mini for a couple of days now, I've noticed that the Mini is super slow with Lion with 2GB of RAM. And I've read online that 2GB of RAM in the Mac Mini is insufficient to run with Lion, so I got 8 gigs. So that's 4 times the memory of what I currently have. Alright, so this is sort of an awkward angle, but this is the only way I can capture the upgrading of my RAM. So basically what I did was I took the lid off, woohoo, and now I'm going to be removing the existing RAM modules on the machine itself, so I just have to release the little clips here for the first RAM module. There you go. First RAM module is removed. Second RAM module is removed, so that's 2 gigabytes. Here is the first stick I'm going to be installing. And press down. Do the same thing. And press down. And it's easy as 1, 2, 3, and now I have 8 gigabytes of RAM in this system instead of the 2 stock configuration RAM modules, 2 gigabytes. All I need to do now is put the cap back on and twist. Give it a little twist. Come on, there you go. I now have 8 gigs of RAM in this beast of a machine. Okay, let's boot this machine up to see if I properly installed the RAM. 3, 2, 1. We have a bong sound. We have Apple logo. Whoa. Standby. That's the first time that's happened. It's probably because it's a wonky adapter cable, mini display port / Thunderbolt cable to DVI. It's not Apple's official $29 cord, which I'll probably be forced to upgrade to if this ever happens again. Oh well. Alright, so that's not what this video is about. This video is about the RAM to see if I upgrade it right and if the system detects the RAM. 4 gigabytes? What? This is the point where I go, what the? It says 4 gigabytes. More info. Memory. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Your Mac contains 2 memory slots. I didn't install 1 RAM stick correctly. Okay. So, I guess I have to take the system apart again. Okay, so it turns out that the RAM undetection was my fault. In all my years of upgrading RAM, this is the first time I installed RAM incorrectly. So let's hope that it detects the new RAM right when we boot in 3, 2, 1. Startup sound, screen, getting ready to boot. There we go, and we're off to the races. Let's go to the Apple logo, about this Mac, and there we go. We now have 8 gigabytes of DDR3 1333 megahertz of RAM in this machine. Now if you go to more info, go to memory, 4 gigabytes in one slot, 4 gigabytes in the second slot. So we now have 8 gigabytes of RAM in this machine. Yeah, so let's open up a bunch of apps. Let's open up Safari, Mail, Twitter, Spotify, Dictionary, Activity Monitor, iMovie, GarageBand, QuickTime, Sticky, Skype, Audacity, PowerPoint, Word, iTunes, and Earth. So if I was still using my stock configuration RAM, my system would freeze up and it would give me the beach ball of death. But so far so good. I don't see any lag or anything, and everything's looking good. So that's good. Alright, so I think I'm at that point of the video where I need to conclude this video. Let me give you a recap of what happened in this video. First, I ranted a bit on Windows 8. Second, I unboxed the Mac Mini itself. Third, I set up Mac OS X. Fourth, I upgraded the system's RAM a few days later, which is actually today. And 5, you are watching me conclude this video. Conclude. Yes. And you also saw me fail along the way. For example, mixing up the DVI cables with the primary monitors and secondary monitors, and the fail with the wonky cable when the primary monitor went all funky. and me installing RAM incorrectly. So you saw me fail along the way, which is really nice for you guys, but not for me. But anyways, I am actually currently editing this video in Windows Live Movie Maker. This is going to be the last video I ever edit on a Windows machine, because I'm going to start editing movies with iMovie. And this is the point of the video where I stress something to you. Yes, this is an important idea to stress to you. We're at that point of the video where this video is about to end. And now you have to do your part in liking or disliking the video. Now, take this into consideration. I want you to like or dislike the video because of the content, and not because of my opinion on Macs over PCs. I mean, I still love Microsoft. I'm not totally bashing them. Again, I'm using their Microsoft desktop set. This is a 6,000 keyboard, 7,000 mouse. This is a sleek desktop set. I think it's even superior to, oh, did you see that little particle there? That's actually my spit. Never mind. It's actually superior to Apple's wireless keyboard and Magic Mouse, or Magic Trackpad for that matter. And so that's why I'm keeping this desktop set. Okay? Also, I have this HP ProBook 4420S. It has Windows 7 on it. I will be frequently using Windows 7 still, but it's just not going to be my main operating system. And so you don't have to worry about that either. And I'm also debating whether or not to install Windows 8 when it finally comes out, because, you know, Windows is not going to be my primary operating system, and Windows 8 is just going to be a fun OS to play around with when I'm bored. So I might set this machine up as a dual boot machine so I can boot into Windows 7 and Windows 8 whenever I need to boot into a specific OS. Now, with the content of my YouTube channel, it's going to be a mix of Windows videos and Mac videos now, and so my audience will grow a bit. I hope it'll expand to Mac users and Apple peoples, and yeah, the overall reason why I switched to Mac is I have an iPad, I have an iPhone. It was my gateway drug into finally switching to a Mac Mini. Let me show you my setup first. So here's my Mac Mini setup. So everything's organized here. I have a USB extender cable here so that I don't have to fiddle around the back to plug something in with the USB port. I can just plug it in here. And I have a 3.5mm jack. I actually have an adapter for the headphone jack in the back, so I can plug two sources in, two 3.5mm jacks with my Mac Mini now. And one of them is this little extender, and one of them is my speaker system. So that's pretty cool. And here's the bottom where my old Lenovo tower used to be. Actually was a bit overly compulsive and patched up the hole that I cut out to run my computer wires to my Lenovo system. And so that's gone, that's patched up, even though you can totally tell that that's a different color. But anyways, I actually cut a new hole, a smaller hole for the Mac Mini wires so I can connect them to my Mac Mini. See, that hole was big, and that hole is mini. Oh. Anyways, it's time for me to conclude this video. I just want to thank you again for watching this video. Thank you for experiencing my experience of experiencing the experience of Mac OS 10. I'm just playing around here, just trying to act silly. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching this video, and have a good day, or night, or afternoon. I always say day, but I don't take into consideration of whether or not you're viewing this video in the nighttime, or afternoon time, or brunch time, whatever. Alright, thank you very much for watching. Bye.